Hey guys, it's Jessica, and today I want to celebrate 6 months of active posting here on YouTube. Just for anyone who hasn't been following since the beginning, my channel originally started out as an author channel where I was posting drink recipes and food recipes related to the release of my book, Follow Me, Tattered Veils, available on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. These recipes are directly from the book and they relate to specific characters in the book. Within that story, I use the flavors and how these drinks are made as a way to describe personality traits for different characters. So I thought, like, as a release, it would be fun to show you how to make the drinks yourself at home and for everyone to have like a little bit of a tasting, see which kind of character they're most like, really enjoy that moment. After I had produced those, I still had a channel. I didn't have any more ideas for what to do next. It took several months to think about it. I came back strong in December when I decided that I wanted to talk about fantasy and science fiction stories, specifically what is working within a certain story or what we could do to improve stories or to catch like common shortcomings and elevate them to make it something unique. When I came back to YouTube, I knew I wanted to make weekly uploads and I knew to keep a constant stream of content coming out, I was going to have to create an outline, and even to this day I have a master outline on my computer. It's like maybe 12 pages long at this point in time. It helps keep me on track with production because I can go to it at the beginning of the week and say,
alright, these two ideas, let's flesh them out and see which one works.
I knew the goal for my videos would be to showcase character, plot, pacing, world building, and themes of a story and how all of them really work together to make one coherent work. Or how maybe if one of them is just a little bit out of balance, it really detracts from the whole story, and just a couple quick little tweaks can bring something up from an okay level to an amazing level. So what's changed in the past 6 months from when I started with this idea to where I am now? I've gone from outlining individual videos on paper with note cards to actually outlining them on my laptop and leaning over and checking on the laptop. My process has changed a little bit. I have weekend days where I schedule filming and then I edit after work on weeknights. I have a lot more editing work to do than I did before. Originally, I started using a Nikon camera I had and I let the inbuilt audio pick up sound. Now I'm using an iPhone and I also have a mic right here that's picking up sound, and I have to link the video and the audio together, which you would think would be easy, but it's really not, because every time I have to cut or pause anything within the video, it like moves audio a little bit further off, and eventually audio and the video don't sync anymore and I have to drag that audio back so that it all lines up and my lips moving go with the sound that you're hearing. Besides the outline of ideas, I've actually gotten better at predicting where I'm going to place those ideas in the month. So right now I have about a month's worth of videos planned out. Like, I am recording this probably in mid-May and it is going to come out first or second week in June. I know that for sure. And I have to film the last week of May videos still. I'm actually in process of gathering a couple more resources for that. So I'll probably end up filming that one next weekend and it will be a rush job to edit it and put it out for you guys. But I know what it's going to be. It's just me finishing the research to get that done. I just finished filming the second or third week of June's video and I'll be editing that throughout the course of whenever to make that happen. And I feel like I have a much better idea about where this channel is going. You know, I had this concept, this idea for a show to put in the channel called Workshopped It, which still exists here on the channel, and it comes out almost every other week. I can't quite make it happen every other week. It is a lot more labor intensive than I thought it was going to be when I originally came up with the idea. The first couple that I produced, I pretty much had gone over those stories so much in my head that I had a mental outline of them, and I even knew what quotes I was going to use and where those quotes were in the book. So it took almost no work at all to put those ones together. But even though I knew what other books I wanted to workshop and what other shows I wanted to workshop, I found it had been so long since I'd been involved in those works, I actually had to go back to the book or the show, depending, rewatch it, take notes while watching it, and then figure out what the right structure was and how long to make them. So the process for workshops has evolved, but they are not quite on an every other weekly schedule. And I'd like one day for me to come out with a workshop every other week. But I'm not sure it's feasible for me to do that in the near future just because they do take so long. And some of that time and energy, you know, like has to go into other things going on in my life. And I have a pretty busy life right now. I'm in the middle of building a house and planning to move. That is taking a lot more of my time and energy than I might have thought it would have. But I assumed I was going to be doing primarily these workshop videos and that it was going to be a booktube channel. And since then, I've learned that I'm more interested in talking about stories, whether they're books, shows, movies, or even potentially games and rides. Anything that is trying to communicate a message to us that's fictional, that focuses in a fantasy or science fiction world, I'm interested in. And the channel's really like branched out to more movies, more show reviews, or workshopped it, and more different kinds of recommendations within the science fiction fantasy theme than within a booktube kind of way. And I have to say, when I first started that branch out, I was a little bit uncomfortable. I wasn't sure where this channel was going, and I wasn't really sure how it was all going to fit together into like a nice niche or something that an audience would be interested in seeing. And I'm still not 100% sure that combining all those things is great, but I'm comfortable with it. I'm really enjoying it, and I see how it makes sense for me, so I'm gonna keep going that way in my channel. And because I'm not really 100% sure that this like booktube review analysis hybrid channel is going to fit in any kind of specific niche, even though it is all fantasy and science fiction related. And I feel like fantasy science fiction people, we go at the books, we look at the shows, we look at the movies, we want all fantasy and science fiction. But because I'm crossing so many different kinds of media, I have accepted that the channel is going to grow more slowly. It is going to take me a little bit longer to find an audience. And I'm seeing the numbers on the subscribers start to come up now in these past couple weeks more than they have in the whole several months that I've been doing this. So I'm thinking maybe I finally got a regular enough schedule going on. Come on, Willow. I'm thinking that the new bi-weekly schedule I started about a month ago, the confidence in my overall content, and maybe some of the improvement in the audio and the camera quality is finally starting to pay off. In the beginning, Will was there, and here she is now. She doesn't always make an appearance in all of the videos, and I kind of thought at the beginning she would. She has been my consistent writing companion, and I was surprised to learn how camera shy she seems to be. She's here more often than not, and even when she's not in the videos with me, she's often on the floor while I'm filming. So what's coming for the next 6 months? I'm going to continue uploading twice a week. I've done that for the past 30 days. It seems to be really successful. And I have plans moving forward for what I'm going to do. I have a more formal, outlined, considered video that happens here on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Central Time. And then I have a more off-the-cuff response, review, react kind of video where I ramble a little bit more and I tend to run a rabbit from here and there. The video is a lot shorter too. I only allow myself to talk for about 30 minutes and I bring it down to about 15. Those more casual conversations happen Sunday around 1 p.m. and they're almost always TV related right now, but they could turn into something bookish or something else as long as it continues to talk about storytelling in a fantasy and science fiction perspective. And I'm working on creating better thumbnails. I've sort of just let YouTube pick the thumbnails. I had a huge learning curve when I started this. I hadn't done any filming. I hadn't done any kind of video editing. I'd outlined things and scripted things before, but it hadn't been me in front of the camera, and I certainly hadn't done the back end of any of it. So it took me a while, even though I have a Mac. The iMovie program is pretty easy to work. It took me a while. And then when I got new equipment, I had to sort of relearn it all over again. And now I'm fiddling like with sound and GarageBand, which some of you might have heard some like musical elements coming in. I used it to bring my title card down from 6 seconds to 4. I'm gonna keep playing with GarageBand and keep playing with some of those musical elements in some of the videos. It takes me a long time right now, and until I can do it more regularly with a faster turnaround, I can't 100% commit, but I want at least once a week to get in there with GarageBand and play around with the video. And I'm looking to enhance the overall effect. I think right now I'm creating some noise, but we'll see where it goes. And again, I want to create better thumbnails. Right now I'm working with a thumbnail tool from TubeBuddy, the free one, but I've also looked into Canva and thinking about creating like a thumbnail from scratch. I'm not there yet. I'm still researching, but it's something that I want to begin doing in the next 6 months. And I also want to create better titles for my YouTube videos. I'm not great at naming things. It's something I struggle with when I write, and it seems like it's something I'm struggling with in my YouTube videos as well. I have like a general idea, and I have what I call a working title, but you would never put my working title down for a YouTube video title. A lot of times it's like blah 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 BS or whatever, or workshopped it title of work, which workshopped it title of work and the author is great. Usually if I can add a couple more lines that sort of let you know what you're getting into, I feel like that would be better and more enticing. But it's something that I really want to hone in on and focus on in these next 6 months. I want to create a more compact video. When I started, my video times were 45 minutes, one was as long as an hour, and it's just too long. Some of it is that I took a while to get used to cutting out all my pauses and breaths, and some of it was I let myself repeat too much and ramble a little bit. And as I continue to learn to edit and work on it, I've learned like,
hey, you don't need to say things 2 and 3 times. Just the once is enough, and you can cut all these other repeats out.
And I've learned how to cut out some filler words like and On the flip side, I also need to work on cutting out like, you know, as in, and in fact. In fact has been creeping up a lot in my speech, and that's something that I'm going to have to work on. I'm going to continue to feature independent authors, specifically from a Kindle Unlimited profile. I really like the Kindle Unlimited program because it's very budget friendly for me. Once I've paid in, which I've paid a year in advance right now, I can read anything that's on there. And the other thing I like about it is because it is so easy to publish through Kindle. A lot of independent authors, new authors, first-time authors do end up on Kindle Unlimited, and I can see from their Goodreads stats and their Amazon stats that they're just not as well read as they should be. Quite a few of these books are really good. They're high quality reads, and even some of the ones that have some flaws or a little bit of issues or need a little bit more massaging, there's something in them that's great. And if we could just get more people to read and support these authors, we could help them build up their own style, their own writing, and their funds to get better editors or to get editing at all. So I want to continue to support the independent author community, and part of how I do that is by featuring them on YouTube. And I try to stagger it, so I talk about something fairly popular or something fairly relevant in like the YouTube verse, and then I do a video on something lesser known. And I would love if you guys would stick with me if you enjoy my more mainstream content for some of these independent authors. Just give it a little bit of a try. I know it can be hard, like when you're looking at YouTube content, you think like,
I just want to hear about the thing I already know about.
but especially if it's a recommendation or a suggestion, even if you don't watch my video, go look at the book. Go check out a summary and see if it interests you at all, because these independent authors are often really great. The market is just so saturated, they're getting drowned out. And of course, I'm going to continue to follow where my interests and passions lead. I did talk about how I try to stagger something more popular with something independent, and obviously my passion is going to be for reading in these independent authors, but I like the popular things that I review too. I don't go and look at something just because it's popular and put it on the channel. I really can't. I'm not good at making up things to say when I don't have anything to say. I have to respond to what I'm watching, and that's part of why you won't see like a lot of Marvel productions here on the channel, because I just feel meh about Marvel. I don't have anything positive or negative to say. I understand why people like them. They personally bore me. It would be really easy and often relevant for me to talk about Marvel movies, but I don't think what I have to say interests people who like Marvel movies. And I want people to have that. I don't begrudge anyone it. It's just not something I could talk about or be excited about. But most of all, I want to make sure that now and in these 6 months going forward, I thank you guys. When I first started this channel, really my friends and my family subscribed, and a lot of you are still subscribed and watching, and I want to thank you guys so much, because I know that watching these videos is probably not your first priority priority or the most interesting thing you do in your day, and it's something you do to support me because you care about me and what I like to do. It really means a lot to me that you continue to do that and continue to support me even a year and a couple months, I guess, from when I first created this YouTube. And I want to thank all of my new followers too, because you guys took a risk clicking on my video. You can probably see the numbers. It's only like 10, 15, 20, maybe 30 views on a video right now. I have a small subscriber count, but you guys come back for each video and you watch, and I really just like and appreciate that. I do see slow and steady growth in the channel, and I am seeing more likes, and occasionally I get a couple comments on the video, and all of that is just really cool and great to see. And it's wonderful that there's someone on the other side of this camera right now who is watching and enjoying the content. So thank you so much for taking a try on this, and thank you if you've decided to subscribe and are sticking with me. That's what my first 6 months have been like and what I'm trying to do in the next 6 months. Go ahead, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you would like to see. Leave a comment down below celebrating yourself. You guys are awesome. Go ahead and give everyone a hi and a hooray. Thanks so much for being here, and I hope to see you in the next 6 months. Bye!